again, because last video I don't have enough room, and I should have just kept out the my final thoughts thing, because like no one cares. Everyone's gonna have the same thing. As long as people didn't dislike the game, they're probably gonna say like the same stuff. It was funny, haha, stupid pee pee poo poo, and game good. That's pretty much it. That doesn't mean that it's like bad or simple or something. That's not a bad thing. That it's that's all. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Gosh dang it! Can I just there? I have no clue. I just don't know what image I'm having for this video. Just clear up a little bit more before the big boy video that is gonna be out soon. Maybe. Actually, I don't know. It might be out today, or it might take a bajillion years. Depends on how much effort is actually necessary. First thing I want to say is I want to clear up a misconception about the start of the game. Like, I've seen I already saw a lot of things saying that there's something off about Rouse, and like Rouse might be evil, something blah blah blah, Rouse is lying to us. And now I've seen another spike in those kind of videos and comments and whatever else. And yeah, that still could be true. Let's take a step back and talk about one thing. The first thing that people said Rouse was lying to us is in the very start of the game, where it explains everything. It's like, and the three heroes will appear and seal the fountain, but at the end of the game, Chris is the only one necessary to steal the fountain. So it's like Rouse was just lying. Well, Susie was there, but Susie wasn't necessary, or at least it didn't make that clear at first. It's obvious now, because there's the Snowgrave route, which we do not have Susie there at all. And only Chris is needed to seal the fountain. So it's like, people thought that Rouse was lying just to put himself as a part. Was I covering up the mic the whole time? Which side is the mic? I cannot remember. That Rouse was lying just to put himself as a part of their adventure. That is not what the intro says. The intro says that 3 heroes would appear to seal the angel's heaven, which is something that would only happen after all the fountains have been unleashed and the world is about to end. So that's only a what-if scenario, just in case they fail to seal the fountains away. Then all 3 of them are going to be necessary to banish the angel's heaven or whatever. He didn't say anything about sealing the fountains in that intro. In fact, if I remember correctly, through other dialogue in the game, he even states that only Chris can seal the fountain, or something. Sure, there was that one dialogue around the beginning of the game where he's like, you need us to go home to Susie. Yeah, I guess that could be interpreted as Rouse saying that he's necessary to seal the fountain, but when he says us, he just means Chris. But he's saying us because obviously Rouse is going to be following Chris. So Susie either way is still sticking with them. The us. So yeah, and now another thing. Everyone's thoughts. I'm tired of seeing this, and I have definitive proof to disprove it finally. About the Chris-Chara connections. How is is Chara gonna play into deltarune? Is Chara gonna be the secret final boss? Is Chara evil? Is Chara possessing Chris? Blah 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 blah. No. And here's the proof. In Deltarune, unlike Undertale, where if you name a character that exists in the game, it just doesn't let you, or at least some of them it doesn't let you. In Deltarune, it will tell you that it's an interesting coincidence if you name your character or you one of the characters that's going to be in the game. If I remember correctly, even Papyrus has a trigger for that. I might need to double check that. And if so, and we haven't seen Papyrus at all in Deltarune yet. So that would still mean that characters that haven't appeared in the game yet will still get name triggers for later. And guess what? There is no interesting name triggers for Chara. So if you need any proof that Chara is not controlling Chris and Chara is not a part of Deltarune at all, or at least for now, it's like, sure, in naming Gaster, it's always gonna crash the game, but that could be both because Gaster is playing into the game. Obviously, there's no point of even denying it. Gaster's theme is literally the one at the start there, where the person of whoever is talking to you, and the song is called Another Hymn, and Gaster's theme in the files is called Hymn. Which that is something in itself that I want to talk about, but there's not that much to talk about. Another hymn means like another Gaster. And this Gaster doesn't talk in Wingdings, so maybe there's one Gaster that was shattered across space and time, probably from Undertale, and then the Gaster from Deltarune might still be alive and well and normal. Well, not normal. He's still definitely some omnipotent being above the rules of the world. But yeah, that implies that there's another Gaster, which is interesting, because now we've got the Gaster that appears in the game over screen, well, for Chapter 1, and in the intro, and then we've got the Shattered Gaster, which is still appearing everywhere. I don't know. That's just, like, really weird, because also the game over theme for Chapter 1, for some reason, is a mix of Gaster's theme and Toriel, the Fallen Down theme, which doesn't make any sense. So those are the two biggest things I want to say. I could talk a little bit more about Spamton now that we have actual time in this video. Also, let me actually make sure this has been recording this whole time, because if it's not, I need to... Okay, it's been recording. Okay, I don't think there's really that much to talk about Spamton. Actually, there is one thing I want to talk about. Mike. This Mike character that's only mentioned twice. First, he's mentioned in the shop by Spamton, and he says he's a criminal. But he, like, not breaks down, he actually, kind of opposite, because he's always broken. He actually talks like a normal person. It's like something about this Mike character triggers something with Spamton. I saw two theories. One, that Mike was Spamton's original name before he was broken, but he still has a faint memory of who he used to be. And two, that Mike is the name that Gaster claimed he was, obviously to keep his identity a secret, when talking to Spamton on the phone. Again, sure, there's nothing to 100% confirm that, but I don't think there's any point of denying the fact that Gaster was the one talking to Spamton. We don't need 100% proof to consider something canon. That's just obvious. Sure, maybe he had more than one caller, and Gaster was just the main one. Because that's another interesting thing, is he's still getting calls, even in the present day, because in his shop it's ringing, and he gets calls on the phone when he does attacks. But I don't understand that part, because, like, the phone looks like he's just talking to another one of himself, which is easily possible, because he could create heads and versions of himself. And they just put heads and Pippis. I don't get that. The Pippis. Because, like, it's obviously some stupid joke like Beppis and PP and whatever. It's like, it's a clam. But he also calls the Pippis eggs, which is interesting. So, the Mike character... There's this weird face that appears in the basement, and it looks like the same face that shows up on the TV at the end of the game. Did I already say this in the last video? I might have, but I'm going to say it again because it's really important. The Mike, like, that's interesting because the same face, or it's not the same one. It's a different sprite, but it looks quite similar. And sure, you could just say that the face in the basement is just Spamton's face because it's got the same colored eyes, but actually it's got the same colored eyes but inverted. But then again, Spamton's eyes do invert when he goes to Neo form, which is weird. I don't know what that's about. But the mouth is why I can't say it's Spamton, because Spamton is clearly a marionette, and only his jaw can move up and down. You can see him force stop his smile, but it looks really awkward. But that face, he literally physically cannot make that smile in the basement. So it can't be him. So obviously, with everything piling up, it's pretty obvious what we're getting to. TV, face, mic in the basement, maybe. We don't know. So he's a guy on TV. He's a criminal. The new Dark World is clearly going to take place in Chris's room with a TV in the center, which has a smiley face. And that could have been there to throw everyone off, like, oh my gosh, the return of Flowey, because there was so much Flowey stuff hinted at in Chapter 2. But again, unless Flowey is time traveling or world hopping or something stupid like that, there is no way Flowey can exist in Deltarune Chapter 2. Unless someone else died and someone else got it, there's dust spread on a flower and someone else got injected with determination for whatever reason. But the determination injection things aren't even going to happen because there's no need for it. Unless they're just experimenting for the sake of experimenting. Which is obviously something Gaster could be doing. In the bunker, probably. So yeah. But, let me show you something that I made. Just, it's not, like, important or anything. No, stop. I drew a picture of what the Mike character might look like if I'm actually getting on the right track, and it isn't Flowey. Like, it might end up just being Flowey, and Toby Fox will somehow find a way to make that work. Because Toby Fox will find a way to make anything work somehow. Like, boom, there's the face. It kind of just looks like Slender Man with a TV head. Also, I drew the night, what the night might look like. I combined the colors from the Strange Night font and the Nightmare Knight from Cucumber Quest, who the knight is obviously going to use the song of. Like, seriously, if Toby doesn't do that, I'm gonna be mad. I will be mad if Toby does not remix that song for the inevitable knight fight. Even if the knight is Chris, it could still happen. The knight, you could still fight the knight. Like, who says we're even going to be playing as Chris through the whole game? It's clearly implying that Chris is trying not to be controlled by us. So it wouldn't be a surprise if eventually he will finally break free and be his own character, and we might have to fight him either as some of the other characters or as the vessel that we created in the beginning. The head shape, obviously, I'm still going with the everyman theory, and I'll talk more on that later, but I'm not going to talk about everyman in this video. And the horse is actually the horse that Jevil has in his fight, which is something that I never realized. The ducks, not just the everyman duck that appears in the Jevil fight, all three of the ducks are important, because the first duck kind of looked like Gaster, but not really. But that's what the theory said from VGFM, his amazing everyman rabbit hole theory. Check it out. But the horse is obviously referring to the knight, because duck horse, well, it is a merry-go-round. That's actually a good question. Why does a merry-go-round have ducks in the first place? It should be horses. Or horse. Is horses plural or is just horse plural? And now a theory that I saw that I kind of have geared away from but once thought is, I like the theory that the secret bosses, my dog is screaming, the secret bosses in the next chapters will be the genocide bosses in reverse, because first we had Jevil, which was kind of like Sans, but not really at all, but kind of. And then we had Spamton Neo, which is obviously Metaton Neo. And so next we would get an Undyne type character. And that's what this horrible sketch was. But then I thought, hey, Undyne herself, just the real Undyne, might be a part of Chapter 3, because Toriel called the police, which is Undyne, over to the house, and Chris opened the door. So Undyne might go wander into the Dark World and be a boss herself, so there would be no need for an Undyne type character. But this was the concept that I had. Obviously, like, it wouldn't just be 100% Undyne. It would be like, take the Undyne type stuff and then switch it up. So it's like, instead of the heart, it's a spade, because spades look like hearts, and because, spades are a big part of Deltarune. And for the arrows, instead of them being spears, they would be actual bow arrows. But now I have a better theory, that now that souls have been implemented back into the thing, the 7 chapters will be the 7 souls. First chapter didn't have any soul gimmicks, because that can just be the red soul. Now we've got the yellow soul, which was the last soul. But and then we could also, what the heck was that noise? Whatever. And next we could be getting purple soul for Muffet. But if this is a correct theory, then we could even be finally getting official versions of light blue and orange soul. I've seen so many different fan-made versions of how those would work. I am excited to see them official, to see how they officially will work. Also, just what the heck ever happened to orange and blue attacks? I guess because Deltarune attacks have had a lot of color, so if you suddenly had color-oriented attacks, that would be kind of confusing. It was a accepted fact in the Undertale fandom that red attacks were like insta-kills or extra damage or something. But in Deltarune, the colors of attacks don't mean anything. They just use colors sometimes. Like the birds from the Swatchlings. For some reason, they just flash red. Okay, I don't know how long this video is right now. In fact, I'm gonna go check. So I was about to make this segment, and I didn't even realize that it's gotten even crazier since last time I was here. Thank you so much for the views on Who is Everyman video, because that was my original intent. It's like, this is going to be the big video. This is going to be the one that has thought put into it, effort, whatever. And while it was originally intended to have actual video, and be edited, obviously I don't have that because I'm broke and stupid. This was always what I wanted. Like, sure, memes are funny, and this video does still have a special place in my heart, because it was one of the first things, and for a long time now, even still a little bit, but I've probably got better ideas to do. I've always wanted to make some crazy, like, I've seen so many stupid, low-effort, garbage Mario EXE horror games. It's like, why do we use these stupid concepts of just bloody Mario, oh no, kill you, when we have horror material in Mario already available to us? Why don't we make fan games based on that? But this is getting besides the point. I was planning on saying something else, but now I guess I don't have to, because look, even though it hasn't moved up the list because YouTube is slow, looking at the views, this video is now my most popular video, which is so good, because honestly, right now, I still debate deleting these stupid Week 8 videos, because they're low effort, I don't care about them, I want to disconnect myself from Friday Night Funkin', and I was being scummy and spamming links to them everywhere. because I was taking advantage of the fact that those videos would get views. So yeah, I'm not proud of those. I kind of want to delete them, but then again, there's some of the most views I have. I gotta take what I can get. But I'm so glad that this has become my most popular video. Though it is outdated, and again, just like how when Hell Valley Skytrees got a lot of views and I needed to make sequels or whatever to it, now that this is my most popular video, and I just need to make another video in general because of how much new Everyman stuff has surfaced, I definitely need to add a proper sequel to this, and I am excited to say that for the first time ever, I'm actually going to be using a script. Maybe. Or at least I'll try to do it. The reason I have not been using a script is not only because I'm lazy and I don't care, and because for videos that aren't serious, it just is funnier to have stupid mess-ups and whatever else. But it's because I have no editor and no anything good, and I can't just cover up what the video is with an image. I guess I could do it if I used KindMaster, but I only want to use KindMaster ironically. I hate KindMaster. Just seeing the logo makes me feel like a degenerate, and even if I already am a degenerate, I don't need to feel like it anymore. So, unless I was to like write it down on paper, which I'm way too lazy to do, then the visuals would just be me looking at that script. Oh, look, the thumbnail finally updated. So yeah, I need to make a script, maybe. Like, I probably will just be rehearsing it and hope that I do it right all in one take. Because that's going to be a long video. There's so much stuff that is new, and so much stuff that I just never thought about from previous Undertale stuff. So yeah, look forward to that video. This isn't a short video by any means, but this isn't a big video. This is just the scraps. The bottom of the barrel, not really. There's so much stuff we could go through. This is only touching the surface, but it's the important part. It's the bottom of the surface. These are the important topics. Spamton, Gaster, the Knight, Everyman, whatever else, Chris, Chara, not Chara. So yeah, look forward to that. It might be out today, or it might be out weeks from now because I'm actually gonna try to put effort into it. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. Yee.